On September 29, 1942, as part of the Quit India movement, a procession of 6,000 volunteers, mostly women, marched across the streets of Tamluk in Bengal. They walked with the purpose of taking over the Tamluk police station and establishing an independent Indian state by overthrowing the British government in the district. Leading this procession was a 72-year-old woman. When the procession reached the outskirts of the town, they were ordered to disband. But the old woman stepped forward and appealed to the police to not open fire at the crowd. However, firing commenced and she continued to advance with the tricolour flag, leaving all the volunteers behind. The police shot her 3 times. She continued marching despite wounds to the forehead and both hands. As she was repeatedly shot, she kept chanting, Vande Mataram. She died with the Indian flag held high and still flying. This brave woman was Matangini Hazra, and she was lovingly called as Gandhi Buri or Old Lady Gandhi. Matangini Hazra was a primary example of an independent person. And that fact is extremely significant because the best teamwork comes from men who are working independently toward one goal in unison. What is meant by this is that when a group of people have a singular goal in mind, in our case, national independence, every person that wishes to contribute to the cause should do it in their own way. Every freedom fighter was unique. They had all worked for the freedom of our nation, but they had all done what their hearts desired. They listened to their conscience and did what they thought was right. And that is what you call independence. Because without moral and intellectual independence, there is no anchor for national independence. Years ago, the British got a hold over our country. They curbed our independence, they chained our freedom and locked it behind iron bars. But what they didn't realize was that injustice in the end leads to independence. And I am proud to say that we Indians have a very low level of tolerance for injustice. Rebellions were quick to rise. Even if these rebellions were small in number at the beginning, the number and the scale of these resistances gradually increased. The British tried to divide us. They tried to take advantage of our diversity and use it against us. But they failed to realize that diversity is the act of thinking together independently. We have always been a diverse nation, and that has only given us increased strength. We are the world's most populous democracy and one of the most diverse countries in the world. We worked together as one, and yet we are all independent as separate people. We find strength in our unity and in our self-reliance. We are independent and we are together. Because independence is not about doing everything on your own. It is about being one with yourself and doing what is right. Because when we do that, we work for our family, we work for our community, and thus we work for the world. So, this Independence Day, let us embrace ourselves and work for our conscience. Let's work for our happiness and for that of the world. Cheers to our independence. Jai Hind.